Well, 1 billion of us check our Facebook accounts every day, and it is showing on the company's bottom line. Facebook made $2 billion in profit in the second quarter, surprising even Wall Street. Well, much of that is down to focusing on its mobile phone strategy. Advertisers are flocking to Facebook, but not everyone likes what they're doing, as Azhar Sukri reports.
I try to send a message, and every time I do you want to download Facebook Messenger? No!
Meet Francis. He's furious at Facebook. Being able to send private messages to your friends has long been a part of the Facebook experience. But since 2014, it's been trying to get mobile phone users to do so on a separate app. Some have concerns about the personal data the company collects in the process, but many others just don't want the additional bother. For the company, the mobile messaging app is a crucial part of its growth strategy. Facebook allows you to keep up with what your friends are up to anytime they choose to update their status. The so-called news feed is at the heart of Facebook. You can also search for specific things that your friends might be up to, or message them privately. And more recently, it's begun allowing you to stream live video from wherever you are, be it a concert or your local supermarket. Facebook has also recently bought the WhatsApp mobile messaging service and the social media picture app Instagram. More than 1 billion people already check Facebook on their phones every day, and the company makes around $17 billion a year by selling advertising on its mobile platform, making it the biggest source of its revenue. And that has energized its profits. Its latest earnings surged by 186% compared to the same period last year. Facebook Mobile Messenger does not carry any advertising, but that may change. The company doesn't normally comment on such plans, but analysts say Facebook is trying to push as many people as it can onto the app to make it attractive to advertisers in the future. But doing so may also alienate many of its most passionate followers. Azhar Sukri, TRT World.
Facebook!
Okay, but he's a bit of an exception because Facebook is, of course, incredibly popular, but not with the taxman. The Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, has served the company with 7 summonses, and Facebook's failed to show up each time. So let's go to Craig Copetas, who's in Paris for us. Craig, what does the IRS want exactly?
Well, you can say the IRS sent Facebook a message, 7 messages, and Facebook didn't respond. What they want is internal records of Facebook's offshore tax strategies, going back to about 2010. And Facebook's chief financial officer, David Winter, just doesn't want to give them up. If this was any other company or individual in the world, they would have their assets seized by now, and there'd likely be people in jail. But, you know, Facebook, nothing is illegal if you're a multi-billionaire or if you have a company that's too big to fail, or maybe in this case, jail.
Well, that's the question, Craig. I mean, why don't they just go after the chief financial officer?
Well, nobody seems to know. Facebook isn't talking, the IRS isn't talking, but I think part of it might be, Matthew, can you imagine if those 1 billion people, Azhar just told us about, woke up tomorrow morning and Facebook didn't exist, they couldn't operate? What Facebook does, and this is important to understand, in the United States, if you're a corporation, you have to pay a 35% tax. Facebook is incorporated in Ireland, where you pay a 12.5% tax. And Facebook doesn't make anything, and therefore it falls under a different tax category. Facebook has intellectual property, and under the law you can transfer the global rights to intellectual property, which makes them taxable in Ireland at 12.5, and many of those rights not taxable at all in the United States.
But you know, Craig, we're living in an era of, Occupy Wall Street, the 99% and so on. Isn't this harming Facebook's image?
Frankly, I don't believe that Facebook's billion users care, just so long as they can get their instant apps and this, that, and their pussycat photos. I don't understand it, quite frankly, because Facebook here is certainly skirting U.S. law by not complying with IRS rules and regulations.
Right. And are they the only ones, Craig?
Ignoring it.
Are there other blue chip companies doing
No.
the same thing?
Oh, sure. There's a lot of companies that do this. The drug companies, for instance, are trying to reincorporate offshore in Europe and Ireland, where tax rates are less expensive. And the United States government is trying to prevent that from happening. But they actually make something. You have to remember, Facebook doesn't make anything. It's
Just money,
intellectual property. That's it. And they print it.
All right, Craig in Paris, thank you very much for your analysis. Appreciate it.